So, first and foremost, I have a bump. You're probably gonna notice it. It's not herpes. That's a joke. No, I mean, it's a joke, but like, it's not herpes. Okay, so I'm sitting here and just meditating over this candle. And a while ago, I had posted a video that was talking about like, wait, it might be still up, fate, and if I think it's still up there. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was a video that I deleted or if it's a video that's still on my page. But basically, fate and how I feel like, okay, okay. So, in low moments of my life, you know, people would say, spiritual people would be like, you know, you're creating this with your mind. You know, my life felt very like hell like, and they were like, you're just creating this with your mind. Change your thoughts and you'll change your life, yada yada yada, right? Makes sense. Okay, so I would meditate, I would light candles, I would sit at my ancestor altar, I would spend time in nature, I would literally be in the woods, I was journaling, I was doing all these things trying to help my mind improve so that my life could improve. I tried to trick myself into believing that I was not sad and I was not miserable and I was not in pain, even though I was. And that just left me feeling like a bipolar schizophrenic. So when I hear spiritual people be like, you create the life that's in your mind, I agree like 50%. I agree like 50%. But in the same sentiment, I think that we like to pretend we have more control than we really do. There gets up to a point where there's like a wall you hit. You don't control your life that much. At least I don't think so. That's like telling a person that's in an insane asylum, if you can't be happy in an insane asylum, you're not going to be happy outside of this insane asylum. If you can't find it in yourself to find love in prison, you're not going to find love in the free world. It's like
these pussy ass niggas and just go forward and don't speak on shit. Just go forward and live my life. Just woo-de-doo. Yeah, I got blessed. They let me out of jail. Woo-de-doo, woo-de-doo, woo-de-woo. I can't. I don't know, man.
2 years for to be healing, bro. You in there talking
How
shit.
the fuck I'm a heal in the midst of the fire? How I'm a heal in fire?
what? Like, do you hear yourself? Because sometimes the spiritual advice and things people say, it's just like, I just be like, do you hear yourself? Like, it sound good sometimes, but when you try to apply it to real life, it don't be adding up a lot of the times. If you're saying it with conviction like that, the shit need to work at least 8 times out of 10. And a part of life is just accepting that some things are out of your control. Some things are not going to change until they're supposed to change. Like, there's been moments in my life where I just feel like it was really hard up until something changed energetically, and then it's like I had a breakthrough. It don't matter how much I tried to make something work. It wouldn't until it was time. Now, you could say, I finally decided to make it time in my mind. But I wouldn't necessarily say that was true. I don't think that I really felt like that. I don't think that I had a moment of like, okay, definitively, it's time for a change. It wasn't like that. It was just like, it was hard and now it's not. I had no opportunities, and then I did. Everything I tried wasn't working until it was. I didn't really have no control over that. Not for real. I had control over how much effort I was going to apply. But everything else, no, not necessarily. I spent a lot of time, a lot of years of my life, just like learning about spirituality, different spiritual systems, you know, different practices, things of that nature, right? I mean, that's the same thing, but things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I felt like what benefits was I reaping? What benefits have been reaped from that? I mean, sure, I've become smarter. I've become more aware. Yes, these things are all true. I wouldn't go back in time. I wouldn't change anything. I would never do that. But it's like, damn, this don't really seem to come with much benefits. A lot of spiritual people that have a very high consciousness, I look at their life, it's not really a life I would want for myself. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. What is the point of all the knowledge if it isn't working for you? It's like I'm in a weird spot, right? Because it's like I have come out of the energy of like being completely devoted to like building my own sense of spirituality, to growing myself. It almost feels like I've been underground and now I'm like a plant that's like sprouting. And the world almost feels like new to me again. It's like a lot of people that's on this type of path and journey all have a similar story of the friends aren't here anymore, the family isn't here anymore. I still gotta keep pushing because I care about people, even though people aren't really showing me the same equal reciprocation in return. I don't feel the people care about me like I care about them. A lot of people share that similar experience. So I just be thinking like, is it a psychosis? A lot of spiritual people are impoverished. Why is that? It gotta be a psychosis. Don't get me wrong though, because the traditional matrix type of system does try to like punish you when you don't want to play the game and conform to certain ways of life. But that shouldn't matter for real though. You know, I sleep in a hammock, right? I don't sleep in a bed, I sleep in a hammock. It's pretty strange to some people. You know, sometimes if I'm posting a video on TikTok or something, I'm like laying in a hammock, people are like, or the hammock is in the background. They're like, is that a hammock? I'm like, yeah. I have a bed. It's in the garage. I choose to sleep in a hammock. I used to sleep on the floor by choice. Testing out different ways to sleep. I felt like the bed was I was sitting in the bed too long. I was laying in the bed too long. I was too comfortable in it, and I would wake up also feeling like terrible, like I got hit by a train, which is crazy because I actually did research on a mattress I bought, and it cost a lot of money, and I was like very like, I try to get a good one, and it feels nice. It just don't feel good when you wake up. So I started trying out different ways to sleep. So I would sleep on the floor, but then when wintertime came, that was a no-go. That was not going to work anymore. It was like 0 degrees down there. Then I went to a hammock. And even now, I still sleep between the floor and a hammock, which to some people, I know that's like, why would you do something like that? But you just feel more connected to like the earth this way. Like, I don't have nothing against beds. Not saying I would never have a bed again, because I'm sure I would. But it's like, sleeping like this in these type of methods, you do feel more like, in the morning, you just hop up and you go. There's no like lingering time. You don't linger. And you would be surprised though, sleeping on the floor, unless you have already slept on the floor before, you would think like you would wake up feeling so uncomfortable. You really don't though. You really don't. I woke up feeling way worse in my bed than I did on the floor. And I'm often a side sleeper. But yeah, I just mentioned that because you often see a hammock in the background. So I'm sure some people was wondering like, you sleep in a hammock? Wondering why I do it. Or maybe that I had no choice and I had to sleep in a hammock or something like that. You know, I went through a phase where I was like, oh my God, like, I need to become minimalistic. Like, I need to change my whole, any clothes that are of my old self, I need to get rid of. I had a lot of clothes, a lot. And I got rid of most of my clothes that I feel like didn't fit the new version of myself. Or I got rid of most of the clothes that were not cotton. I was trying to get rid of a lot of the polyester, spandex, and type plastic materials. I decreased my wardrobe by like, literally like 80%. I gave all of my good quality clothes to a group home. Everything else I just took to like one of those places where you can just leave the clothes and people just grab it. I didn't want to take it to a Goodwill or something like that where people would have to buy it. Like, I don't like the idea of having to buy somebody's already used clothes unless it's like designer, luxury material type clothes. And then now I look back on that like, wow, I sleep on the floor and I have like 20% of my original wardrobe left. That really looks a certain way. I don't really do things in mind with how it looks to other people. But it made me think though, like, about my own journey and knowing the reasons why I do what I do, right? Me trying to explore more depths of myself. But I think I also just wanted to give myself certain like bummy experiences. Even though it's like, I chose that, you know? Like, I chose it. I don't have any regrets about anything. I could put the bed up tomorrow if I wanted to, but I don't. I could have spent my money on clothes many times. Chose not to. I think about the many different reasons of why I could have wanted to do that. When you're on journeys of exploration for self, how things like that kind of turn the world on you in a way. And by that, I just mean like, right, like my intentions were for a purpose and were pure, right? But it's still gonna look like something else to another person viewing it. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna translate well. A lot of spiritual things don't translate well in the material world. So I guess I'm thinking about ways in which I have to notice how spiritual things do not translate over into the material world well, so that I don't have to face like repercussions to something that I'm doing. If that makes sense. Because I may listen to this later and think that don't even make sense. I don't know. Or, you know, sometimes when you say something and it's like you kind of get your point across, but then later you think about it some more and it's like, oh no, like I understand it so much better now. Like I should have said it like this, because this really the real breakdown for real though. I hate when those moments happen for real. When quote unquote spiritual people and religious people and all that, when they're like on their just have positivity wave, just keep the positive thoughts and things of that nature. You know, I understand it. You know, I value happiness and positive thoughts, things of that nature, you know. But it's like, why do we do the other emotions like that? Well, not me, but you know, why do they like shun away the other emotions like that? Why not teach how to express them but move on though? Why is it like a no, reject them? You got to keep the positivity. Nigga, sometimes you don't feel positive. And when you deny that, it messes with your mind. It like makes you go against yourself. And we act like it's influencing you in a positive way. No, the hell it ain't. What is more pure and connected to a higher consciousness than expressing how you really feel in the moment? What is more pure than that? Embracing all forms of your consciousness and not just the ones everybody you're okay with. People treat sadness and anger like the fucking plague. Like they don't get sad or angry. Like sadness and anger doesn't have a place and a time. Like they aren't useful emotions. I don't really be liking that. You know, I feel like it sets you back. I don't think that you're being in flow if you're denying the emotions that you're having at that moment. How is that being in flow? Now you got to get over it. You got to keep it pushing. You got to move along. But being fake happy though, stop playing. Not trying to hear it. Mind you, right? I don't even drink like that. But for these past couple days, babe, I've been eating a shot or two. Okay? My nerves been a little, ugh. And you know what's crazy? It's like once you say you don't really drink like that or something, it's like, well, damn, now I can't drink. Now I can't have a drink because somebody's going to be like, I thought you said, but I thought. Now, granted, I'm going to still do what I want to do regardless. You feel me? But it's like, damn, I can't even say nothing for real because I might end up going back on what I said accidentally. Because that's just how life be. And just because you seen it on the internet a couple days ago or a month ago or 2 months ago, now you're going to try to hold it over my head. Like people don't change their mind on a daily basis. You know what else had me thinking about that? I've been vegan, I've been vegetarian, I've been pescatarian. Now I'm just a person who does what I want to do, right? But because I've been vegan, and I was vegan for like 2 years, it's like sometimes now I feel like I have something to uphold when it comes to eating a certain type of way. Like if I make a meal that has meat, now I feel like now people are gonna think, oh, now you're backpedaling, now you're backtracking. When it's like, bro, life is in like flow. Like you change your mind. You do different things. Like there is no one set route to take. I mean, I guess you could, but that's kind of miserable. And sooner or later, I think that if you're just taking one route, sooner or later, you're just going to be lying to yourself. You're only taking that route because you're scared to go on a different route, or you're just so lost in the identity you formed about yourself now. I think, at least. I just think that's interesting, though, when I notice those type of little thoughts pop up. Even though I think that some of my food decisions are definitely based on me living with other people. Because when I am by myself, I don't really tend to eat meat that much, to be honest. I definitely eat meat more being around other people versus myself, but I still do eat it here and there. On my own, but, you know. And if you're going to be my page, let me say this, right? Please be active and interact, or please just unsubscribe. Like, seriously. Because I've done this before on other social medias where I speak to y'all, I share who I am, I kind of give you a little inside. And you know damn well I don't remind you of nobody. So the least you could do if you're going to watch the things I do is interact, you feel me? Like, now I know me saying that probably is not gonna change a lot of y'all mind about that. Y'all still not gonna interact. Y'all just gonna watch this shit and not say nothing, which is fine. Some people are only gonna be watchers, but I'm saying though, like, I do not be all that just watching a person, but not really like. It should be building a community. It should be a community type of thing. You feel me? Especially if you watching me, like, we probably already have. You found me for a reason. You found my page for a reason. So it's like, you know, don't treat me like I'm just an internet person that's like giving you some slight entertainment while you like wash your dishes or some shit. And it don't go no deeper than that. I don't really think I got nothing else to say at this point. I think at this point I need to get back to my meditation and staring at this candle. I will see y'all another time.